Let me take you back to a moment that many of us have experienced at some point in our lives. Imagine standing in front of a store window, your eyes fixated on that sleek new gadget or that pair of shoes that seem to whisper your name. You feel a pull, an irresistible urge to make them yours. It's almost as if the item is promising you more than just its utility or beauty. It hints at happiness, status, or even a new, more exciting version of yourself. Ever wonder why that happens? Spending, as it turns out, is far more than just a financial transaction. It's a deeply psychological activity, influenced by emotions, peer pressure, societal norms, and even our childhood experiences. When we dig into the psychology of spending, we start to see money not just as a physical object we exchange, but as a medium through which we fulfill our needs and desires, sometimes rational, often not. Let's consider this. Have you ever bought something impulsively, only to feel a pang of regret soon after? That little voice in your head going, "Why did I buy that?" This is what psychologists call buyer's remorse, and it's a common experience. It arises from the tension between our emotional impulses and our rational mind. In the heat of the moment, the excitement of purchasing can override our better judgment. But once we've cooled off, our rational mind kicks back in, and we start to question our choices. So what drives us to spend the way we do? At the core, it's about emotions. Fear and greed, often talked about in the world of investing, play out in our everyday spending too. Greed isn't just about hoarding wealth. It's about the desire for more experiences, more objects, more status. Fear, on the other hand, can drive us to spend for security, to fit in, to avoid missing out on what others have. Let's talk about an example from the financial markets, the so-called herd mentality. This is when investors follow what they see others doing, often leading to bubbles and crashes. A similar concept plays out in our personal spending. We might buy the latest smartphone not because we need it, but because everyone else has it, and we fear being left behind. Marketers are adept at tapping into this herd mentality. Ever notice those limited time offers or only a few left in stock messages? They're designed to trigger our fear of missing out, pushing us to act impulsively. Now, I'm not saying spending is bad or that we should all become hermits who shun material possessions. In fact, spending can and should be joyful and fulfilling. It's about finding a balance, understanding why we spend, and ensuring our spending aligns with our true values and goals. One effective mental model here is to think of spending in terms of opportunity cost. When you spend money on one thing, you forgo the opportunity to spend on something else, perhaps something more aligned with your long-term goals. Let's say you're eyeing that gourmet coffee every morning. If you spend $5 every day, that's $150 a month, $1,800 a year. Now imagine if you invested that money instead, year after year, letting it compound over time. It's not about denying yourself small pleasures, but being conscious of where your money is going and whether it serves you in the long run. When we recognize our spending patterns, we gain control over them. Think of it as a financial diet, not in the sense of starving yourself financially, but in choosing a healthy balance. Just as with food, understanding your habits, triggers, and motivations is key to making better choices. Speaking of habits, let me share a personal story. I once had a habit of buying books, lots of them. I love the idea of being well read, but my bookshelf was overflowing with titles I hadn't even opened. After some reflection, I realized it wasn't the books themselves I was after. It was the identity of being an avid reader. So, I started borrowing books from the library, saving both money and space. This simple change made me realize that sometimes we spend not on what we truly need, but on what we want to project to the world. This brings us to the role of identity in spending. Many of our purchases are tied to how we see ourselves or how we want others to see us. Understanding this can help us make more deliberate choices, ones that truly reflect our personal values. rather than societal expectations. And let's not forget about planning. Setting up a budget might sound tedious, but it's really about making a plan for your money. It's about giving you the peace of mind that you're in control, not your impulses. A budget isn't just a list of numbers. It's a tool for telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Lastly, let's talk about long-term wealth. True wealth isn't just about accumulating money or possessions. It's about freedom. The freedom to live life on your own terms, to make choices not out of necessity, but out of genuine desire. By understanding the psychology of our spending, we equip ourselves with the tools to build lasting wealth, not just financially, but in terms of happiness and fulfillment. As we wrap up, I want you to reflect on one simple idea. Every spending decision you make is a step toward the life you're building. Are those steps leading you closer to the life you envision, or are they taking you in circles? Next time you're about to spend, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this helping me create the life I want? In doing so, you may find that the true art of spending lies not just in what you buy, but in knowing when the best purchase is to hold off, letting your money work for you in more meaningful ways. Thanks for joining me today on this exploration of the psychology of spending. May your financial journey be filled with choices that bring you closer to your deepest goals and desires. Until next time, take care. Absolutely. Let's dive back into the fascinating world of spending and the emotions that guide our financial choices. Last time, we explored how our emotions play a role in our spending habits, often more than we'd like to admit. Let's continue this journey by delving into a specific emotion that can heavily influence our financial decisions: fear. Fear can be a powerful motivator. Think about it like this. When we feel anxious about something, maybe it's an economic downturn or the fear of missing out on a big investment opportunity, our spending behavior often shifts. For some, fear might lead to saving more as they prepare for potential tough times ahead. For others, fear might cause them to spend impulsively as a way to soothe their anxiety or to grab opportunities before they're gone. Have you ever heard the term retail therapy? It's a way some people cope with stress by buying things. In the moment, spending can create a brief sense of relief or happiness, but it can also lead to regret or financial difficulty if it's not done carefully. Recognizing these patterns can help us understand why we might reach for our wallet when we're feeling emotional. And then there's the flip side of fear: optimism. When we're feeling particularly hopeful, maybe after getting a promotion or hearing some good economic news, we might be more inclined to spend freely. Optimism can encourage investment in new ventures or even lavish spending on things we believe will bring us joy. But too much optimism could cloud our judgment and lead to overspending. It's fascinating to see how these emotions can shape our financial lives, and ultimately, what brings these emotions into focus is awareness. Being aware of our emotional triggers can help us pause and reflect before making financial decisions. So how can we navigate these emotional currents? One practical tip is to implement a cooling-off period for larger purchases. If you feel an urge to buy something expensive, wait a day or two before making the decision. This gives you time to evaluate whether the purchase is truly necessary and whether it aligns with your financial goals. Another helpful approach is to develop a budget that takes emotions into account. Instead of only focusing on numbers, consider setting aside a small amount for spontaneous or joyful spending. This way, you're acknowledging your emotional needs while staying within your financial boundaries. Finally, remember that it's okay to seek help. Whether it's talking to a financial advisor, a therapist, or even a trusted friend, getting an outside perspective can provide clarity and guidance when emotions start to cloud your financial decisions. As you continue on your financial journey, keep these emotional insights in mind. Understanding the psychology of spending can lead to smarter, more mindful decisions that serve both your wallet and your well-being. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of the psychology of spending. Until next time, remember to spend with intention and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with it. Welcome back, everyone. Let's dive deeper into the fascinating world of spending and how our emotions play a big role in the decisions we make. We often think of money as something logical, dollars and cents, budgets and spreadsheets. But the truth is, money is deeply emotional. It's tied to our feelings, our values, and even our sense of identity. Think about the last time you bought something on an impulse. Maybe it was a new gadget, a pair of shoes, or even just a fancy coffee drink. What was happening in your mind at that moment? Maybe you felt a rush of excitement, or perhaps you were trying to soothe a stressful day. Our emotions can drive us to spend in ways that aren't always rational. A lot of us fall into something called retail therapy, where shopping becomes a way to cope with feelings like sadness or anxiety. The temporary high we get from purchasing something new can be powerful, but it doesn't last. Over time, those little impulse buys can add up, leaving us with buyer's remorse, or worse, a pile of debt. Then there's the influence of marketing and advertising. The messages we see and hear every day are designed to make us feel like we need things we don't. These messages tap into our emotions, suggesting that buying a particular product will make us happier, more successful, or more loved. It's important to be aware of these tactics so we can make more conscious choices about where our money goes. Another common psychological trap is the fear of missing out, or FOMO. We see friends or influencers on social media with the latest gadgets, vacations, or fashion trends, and we feel the pressure to keep up. It's natural to want to belong, but it's also crucial to remember that what we see online isn't always the full story. People rarely post about their financial struggles or the stress that comes with overspending. Now, let's talk about a more positive aspect of financial psychology, the joy of mindful spending. This is about being intentional with your money, spending on things that truly add value to your life. It's about aligning your spending with your values and goals, rather than giving in to fleeting desires. One practical way to practice mindful spending is to create a cooling-off period for impulse purchases. If you see something you want, wait 24 hours before buying it. This pause allows your initial emotional response to settle, giving you time to consider whether the purchase truly fits into your life and budget. You can also try setting aside a portion of your budget for guilt-free spending. This is money that you can use however you like, without worry or judgment. Knowing you have this flexibility can reduce the urge to splurge unexpectedly because it's already accounted for. Ultimately, understanding the psychology of spending is about gaining awareness. When you know why you're driven to spend, you can make choices that reflect your true priorities and build a healthier relationship with money. That's it for today's episode. I hope this discussion helps you recognize and understand your own spending behaviors. Remember, financial well-being isn't just about numbers. It's about feeling confident and in control of your money. Thanks for tuning in, and if you found this episode helpful, be sure to share it with a friend. Until next time, take care and happy mindful spending.